Today's stretch break, we're actually going to be doing a couple things. So, majority of today's stretch break, we're going to be doing standing stretches and all active stretches. So, we're going to get started by just nice, easy head tilt from side to side, just back and forth. Just kind of keep it moving a little bit. So, all our stretches today are going to be active. So, we're going to be moving throughout the whole time using different muscle groups to help stretch other muscle groups. So, think pull your ear down with the neck muscles to stretch this side, then switch sides, pull, stretch. So, we're just going to go back and forth a little bit more. Now, as I pull down to my left ear here, I also want to pull my right shoulder down so I get a little bit more of a stretch on that right side. Then back and left shoulder down and just back and forth. So pulling that right shoulder down as much as I can while I bring my head to the side. Again, like always, we want to think up nice and tall for posture, staying in good position right here. We're going back and forth, so pulling those shoulders down while you pull the head, the ear to the shoulder, opposite shoulder. All right, from there, we're going to look straight up and back down again. We're just going to keep moving this head up and head down. Nice and easy, nice and smooth. Same idea, think shoulders are back, head's back when it comes up, and chin down nice and tight towards the chest. All right, from there, we're just going to roll through our shoulders. So rolling those shoulders back, nice and easy. Then rolling the shoulders forward, letting them drop down. And we're going to go arms out to the side, little circles. So just nice, easy little circles, palms up. We're going forward with our circles to start. And we'll go a little bit bigger of circles. And much larger circles now, real wide, all the way up around, trying to reach as high as you can when you come to the top as well. Then we're just going to throw that in reverse. Now we're going to go high, throwing the arms back in reverse, really getting those shoulders opened up. We're going to try a couple different things today to really work through our shoulders to help open them up as well. So we're going right there. Then we're going to go a little kind of medium circles. Then just real tiny small circles, just rolling them back, get those back muscles working, the shoulders ready, warmed up. Right there. Then from there, we're going across. Give yourself a big hug, open up, and come back. And what you want to do is you want to think each time you reach back, you're trying to reach a little bit further back, and we're alternating what arm goes above and below. So reaching back, nice and wide, open up, nice and easy. Just big, long stretches, opening nice and wide. Then we're going to drop the hands down lower and continue to do the same thing. It just takes a little bit of pressure off the shoulders when we drop our hands lower. Alternating from side to side. Right there. The next one we're going to do is a little bit of trunk rotation. So try to lock your hips in place. So we're not going to move our hips. We're just going to kind of slowly swing from side to side. This one you really want to start slow. And sometimes even arms in close or arms out, just elbows bent. Just gives you a little less torque on the back. And by starting slow, it gets your body warmed up and ready for that motion. So you don't just twist real fast. That's a lot of times people will get a quick torsion twist, and that's when it starts to hurt. Now we're going to open up our hips, let our hips move a little bit more with this stretch, get a little bit more rotation around. Let the knees bend a little bit, the hips really turn and swivel with the body. The best way I like to think about it is I try to get my belly button pointing to one wall, then back over to another wall, and just kind of get nice in rotation. If you want to kind of throw in a little twist in the ankles, you can do that as well. And from there, we're actually going to do a bent over twist. So we're just going to kind of go in that athletic stance or golfer stance or bar stool stance, however you like to say it. And we're just going to swing from there. So I'm looking up high and swinging back and forth. So my back's nice and straight. I'm just starting slow, real slow, nice tempoed rotation so it feels better in my back. My hips are rolling with it. Same idea, my belly button's turning. If the belly button's turning, then you're protecting your spine a little bit better and not over rotating the back. As I get through these, I'm going to speed them up just a little bit. Get a little bit more rotation there. All right, good. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of hips. So I'm just going to shift my hips. I'm going to get a little bit of groin, but also back and forth. So just kind of roll from side to side, a little bit of shifting, groin, and this is going to get wider and wider, and we're going to get more into our hamstring. So we're going to drop down a little lower in these each time. So get those hips kind of from one side to the other. Just kind of keep rolling into it. Let those hamstrings stretch. So when I drop down here, I should feel a good hamstring stretch. And the more flexible you are, the lower and lower you can start dropping this. So down nice and easy. Chest stays high, butt seated back, up nice and tall. So we're going right through that, getting that groin, hamstring opened up a little bit. Keep going right through that. Now this time when we swing to one side, open up the leg, toes up nice and high, pull the toes in. It's going to be calf, hamstring. It's just going to alternate it a little bit. So turn and toes up each time you rotate from side to side. So we're actively just kind of continuing and going through these stretches. Get a lot of stretch and trying to drop in as low as you're comfortable. So you can start dropping a little lower. If you got range of motion, some strength, it's going to require a little bit more leg strength to push yourself back up. We're just kind of working through that right there. All right, we're going to come up from that spot, shake out the legs, the groin a little bit, and we're going to work in through the hamstrings a little bit more and hip flexors. So if you want, you could brace yourself against the wall. You're just going to kind of kick up a little bit, come back, think heel comes towards your butt, and kick. So we're just rolling that, whether it's kicking a ball of some sort. But as I come back, my goal is to get my heel as close to my buttocks as I can. And as I come forward, start to kick higher and higher. You could think lock in the hips, get lots of hip motion in the hip flexors. And as you speed up, you'll notice quite a bit more stretch. But as you speed up, make sure you're not collapsing here. Hold the stomach in nice and tight. So right there, kicking back, holding tight, trying to stay in a good posture. And if I kick back and think heel comes back, you can stretch through that quadricep muscles as well. So kicking through that, nice and high. All right, good. And we'll switch sides. So switching sides right there, just same thing. Start nice and slow. Warm up that hip, warm up those hamstrings. The idea when you're doing active stretches is we're actively engaging muscles to stretch others, but the goal is take your time into it. Don't go rush into it real fast. It's never, you just don't want to open the door and go running right away. You kind of walk, jog, then get into your run. So the same idea with our stretches, we're going to get our muscles moving a little bit, then we're going to speed them up the more reps we do. So again, as you come back, really try to kick that heel to your butt and get a good stretch in that hip flexor and quad as well. And if you're more flexible, you can get that leg way up front as well when you're coming back and getting a good hamstring stretch and calf stretch when you're right there. All right. From there, we're going to go to side to side. So you could either do it sideways or standing. Usually I like to still have some sort of support beside me, so the wall works great. I'm just bringing the leg across and out wide. So what it looks like is the legs coming out, then across the body right there. A little bit harder if you don't have something to support. Like that's why I said I usually tend to find something and come across, kick out nice and high. Higher you could kick up, a little bit more stretch you'll get in that calf and that hamstring and the groin all together. And actually even some IT band as you kick across, the goal here is to kind of get that IT band stretching as well. So we're reaching up, kicking through those. Just watch you don't kick the wall. I've seen that happen a few times, done it myself a few times. So just nice smooth kicks with those. And we'll switch sides. So right up, again, just start slow. Range of motion doesn't have to be great, but the goal is with each swing, our range of motion gets a little bit more each time. So nice swings, cross the body, get a nice stretch to the IT band, then go groin and hamstring as you kick up across. Right there, we're going to speed it up just slightly. Excellent, good. Now this one's just simple. We're going to go toes out, legs stay pretty much straight. So this is more of a calf stretch, but it could be low back, a little bit of shoulders. So think toes are pulled up, legs straight. Just swoop down, kind of pick something up, come up tall, swing around. We're just going to kind of keep doing those. So pick up basket, come down, pick up the basket, throw it over the head. Coming down, pick up the basket, throw it over the head. The idea is when you bend here, you're trying to stay as straight as possible in that back. And if your toes are pulled up, you're going to feel much more stretch in the calf than if your toes were down. So toes are up, right up high, reach down. You're just going to kind of swing through these nice big wide swings. Like I said, you'll feel this in your calf, hamstring, low back, all depending on where you're the tightest. Try a couple more of these, just spin them up slightly. Up nice and tall each time. Excellent. I'm going to switch sides and do the same with the opposite side. So left leg is out, toes are pulled up, just coming down. And whether your fingers slide across the ground or barely make it past your knee, that's fine. You just want to think, what is my range of motion? How does it feel each time I swing down? And I just want to try to get a little bit more of a stretch each time. So those toes are pulled up nice and high, because that's going to add to my stretch of the whole posterior chain in that back of that leg. So right down, swinging up. Now I can kind of slowly speed it up. Big basket scoops and throw it over the head behind you. Big basket scoops, throw it over your head behind you. We'll go two more. One last one. Excellent, right there. Now shaking out the legs. Legs should feel a little bit. Now we're just going to kind of go back and forth with our toes. So toes are in, toes are back. Just really try to work that calf muscle, that ankle, open it up, loosen it up. Just back and forth. Same time I'm working my quadriceps, holding my leg up. So that's part of the active stretch. And again, if you could hold good posture there, that's going to be a little bit better. Or you can play around with and hold the balance too. All right, and we'll switch sides. So legs out, toes are pointing, pulled toes back in. Toes are pointing, pulled back in. So we just want to keep working through that. This one might, like I said, you're going to feel a little bit of burn holding that leg up. But you want to keep that leg nice and straight, toes pulled in, pointed, flexing those quad muscles while stretching our calves. Now, just because we worked those quads, let's just kind of loosen them up a bit. Heel to the butt, right there. Just think pull back, and then slide forward again. You see, when I pull back, I'm not just arching my low back. I'm trying to keep this pivot point straight as possible and kind of roll in there. So it might feel a little bit of a stretch in the left leg and or the front of the hip flexors and quads. And if we really want to get deeper into those hip flexors and quads, think stomach in, roll that pelvis under, then articulate through the hip. Right there, up nice and tall. Each time we come back up tall, get a nice stretch in those hip flexors and quads. Let's go two more. Stomach's in. One last one. Stomach's in real tight. Roll as far forward as you can, then coming back up. And we'll switch sides. So from there, right back up. Like I said, I usually like to use the wall or some sort of brace to support. So nice, start nice and slow, just a slight pivot forward. Then each rep, I'm going to try to get a little farther forward, a little tighter under. So stomach's pulled in, hips are tucked under, and we're just going to kind of keep rolling through that. Get a really nice stretch in those hip flexors, stretching the calves of my legs straight on the ground, and my hamstrings, glutes. They're all going to work right in there. All right, good. I'm going to shake it out. And we're going to do one last one where you're going to bring the knee up and across the body. So we're trying to get in that glute and IT band and come back down and switch sides. So knee comes up, then kind of give it a little tug across the body. Try to get into that stretch in that glute and IT band. So we're just alternating here. And again, with active stretches, always some muscle groups are working while others are stretching. So just holding the balance on one leg requires all this muscle group to work while I'm trying to stretch the opposite side. Right there. We'll do another 1 or 2 each side. See how it feels. Sometimes you'll notice I got better balance on one side than the other. That's all right. It just kind of gives you an area of where you need to work on personally. One last one. All right, good. Shaking it out, up nice and tall. Want to finish in a nice open posture, heads up, straight forward. Nice deep breath in. Nice exhale. And that's kind of a 15-minute quick break. We can kind of do some active stretching and kind of get you up and away from your computer so you're back and ready to start the rest of your day.